Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is Tech Friday. So we're going to be here talking tech in English. We'd like you to sit back, relax, join the conversation. We'll be joined shortly by TJ online, talking social media. And we hope to hear from Dr. Tachi in Florida, who's going to be talking to us about media. My partner, Miss Francine Gregory's on the road today. Let me take these out because they're clicking. It's on the road today. And so I'm in charge of all the buttons. So you know it's going to be fun. We got some laughs today. I'm Terralina from California Cover-Ups, and we're the Biz Chicks. Now, you know, on Fridays, we always like to start out with, what's happening in tech history. So let's take a look at what's happening in tech history. So this week in tech history, September 25th, 1973, the first personal computer that you probably never even heard of was introduced. It was called the Microcomputer Machines of Canada. Yes, Canada. It was the Programmers Users Conference in Toronto where it was first introduced. The company worked closely with Intel on the design of their computer and made it the basic design used in the future of Intel. However, failing to generate venture capital in the Canadian marketplace, it never really got off the ground. So in case you wanted to know, the first personal computer, which you never heard of, was introduced in 1973 up in Toronto, Canada. The next article I'd like to talk about here, because we find our articles over on a website called This Day in Tech History. And I want to give them credit because I want Marcel Brown to know that we're giving him a shout out. The first Android was introduced. Let's talk about September 23rd, 2008. That's not that long ago. Google and T-Mobile introduced the T-Mobile G1, also known as the HTC Dream, the world's first Android-based smartphone. By raw sale numbers, you realize that the Android is the world's most popular phone, right? Most popular smartphone platform. So we want to give a shout out to them. It all started in 2008. September 22nd, 1986, the U.S. Court for the Northern District of California rules the computer code is protected under copyright law. Okay, the ruling stems from the case of Next Corp versus Intel, which is basically a battle over the right to produce the x86 processors. The ruling, while finding that Intel had copyright protection for the code in their processors, also found that reverse engineering code was legal and therefore Nexus did not violate Intel's copyright in producing their own x86 processors. So this ruling was the ruling that started the actual copywriting of code, and that changed the whole landscape of software development. The next thing I want to talk about that came about, and I know you're going to find this familiar, September 20th, 1954, the first Fortran program was executed. Fortran was developed by IBM scientists who were looking for a better way to program the IBM 704 mainframe computer. It quickly became dominant programming language for scientific and engineering applications and is still used today, especially in the area of high performance computing. Now, you guys remember the movie Hidden Figures, where she was training herself to read Fortran. So That's because she was working with the IBM mainframe computer and it was just coming out and she wanted to keep abreast of it. Remember that? Yeah. So I'm hoping that these Day in Tech articles are helping. I want you to know in September 19th, 1982 was the beginning of what we call emoticons. In a posting made at Carnegie Mellon University, which is located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my hometown, Professor Scott Feldman proposes first known use of emojicons, also known as smileys or smilicons. While the use of emoticons became widespread during the 80s and the 90s, the origin remained unknown until September 10th, 2002, when the original message was retrieved with a backup tape, which displayed the emojicon below that we often use to symbolize a smile. And finally, on September 16th, 1997, Steve Jobs was named the interim CEO of Apple. 12 years to the day after resigning from Apple, Steve Jobs is named interim CEO of Apple. Only 7 months earlier, remember Jobs' company Next was purchased by Apple, and just 2 months earlier, Gil Amelio phone and runs your iPad. So that takes care of this week in tech history. I hope you found that informative. So let's get on to what's happening over here in the world of tech. I want to start out with an article that I read today about Ring. Did you know that Ring has come up with a security camera that's a drone that flies around the inside of your house? I thought that was interesting. It says Ring, R-I-N-G, latest home security camera is taking flight literally. The new Always Home Cam is an autonomous drone that can fly around inside your home to give you a perspective of any room you want when you're not home. Okay. Once it's done flying, the Always Home Cam returns to its dock to charge its battery. And it is expected to cost around $250 when it starts shipping next year. So it's not available yet. But the chief inventor says the idea behind Always Home Cam is to provide multiple viewpoints throughout the home without requiring the use of multiple cameras. In an interview ahead of the announcement, he said the company has spent maybe the past 2 years actually developing the device. They want to make sure that it is able to fly without bumping into stuff. That's basically that's my technical term. Okay. Also, when it's in the docking station, the camera is blocked, so it's not recording you while you're home. It says here the charging dock blocks the camera view, and the camera only records when it's in flight. Ring says the drone makes an audible noise because, like, what if you're in your office and your kids are messing around with the drone and next thing you look up, you're being filmed while you're on the phone and all that. Okay, anyway, it says so you can actually hear it when it's flying, so that it's obvious that footage is being recorded. Ring says the camera can be used for simple things like checking if the stove is on, if the door is locked, or if the puppy's inside, whatever. It features optical avoidance technology. That's their technical term for keep it from bumping and stuff, to allow it to avoid objects in its path, and its shrouded propellers prevent damage to property or hurting a pet or a person that might collide with the drone. Now, I can see why this would be important. Hi, Pat. How you doing? I can see why it would be important to have that technology for bumping into stuff. What do you think about this, Pat? What do you think about having an autonomous drone that you can operate from a remote place to see what's going on inside the house? You know, Ring does a great job with these outdoor doorbells. Do you trust it to have a drone that would, okay, and evidently you map the path. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to see you. I was talking about the fact that Ring now has a drone.
Yes, I was reading that this morning.
For indoor, and I was wondering, you know, how would you feel about that, having it going around your home when you're not home?
Oh, so it goes around when you're not home.
When you're not home, that's the so it's called Never Away from Home or something. Never away
from home.
Yeah, so you can, you know, so you can.
Yeah.
Okay, and this whole thing of having it be able to fly around and you see what's going on. Pat says what? I think drones are kind of illegal in North Carolina. Okay.
But this is indoors. That's probably outdoor drones.
Probably so, because of, you know, the interference with aviation.
Right.
But
a lot of states have outdoor drone regulations, but this is in the house.
Correct. So this is in the house, and you're able to, you know, check it out from your smartphone. So what you do is you chart a path. When you get it, you map your house.
Right.
So it will know where to go in the house. And I don't know. That it just raises a lot of questions to me. I like the fact that in the article they answered the whole thing about the pets, that it has some kind of sensor so it doesn't bump into things and hurt pets. I'm thinking it's also a good thing, because what if you have it there because you have someone that you want to monitor?
Right.
You may have someone at home who needs to be monitored. I don't know, for whatever reason, health reasons, whatever.
Yeah, I see where it works if you're taking care of an elderly, you know, person and they're immobile.
Or
it's like a baby monitor almost, but you know, you don't want to use a baby monitor on an adult.
And you don't want a camera in every room. So this keeps you from having to have a camera in every room, because you can move the camera around via the drone.
Yes.
Pat says, let's see, it sounds really odd. I don't know if North Carolina drone laws apply to people's private property, like indoors.
Well, it's inside of your house. The government doesn't rule is what you do inside of your house.
Yeah, praise God.
So that's why I was saying it's inside of your house. So whatever laws, those are for outdoors and not probably on public property, because we had that issue here in New York.
And we had an issue in California because it was actually interfering with aviation.
Right.
So, you know, we had to have, you know, laws about how high, what areas.
There's certain regulations depending on your location. So
exactly. Now the other thing is, they've come up with, and I think this is interesting, a product that will guard your car.
Okay.
So it has it's a ring. And so it's to protect your car, and you can see it on your camera, and it will notify you someone's trying to break in your car. But the thing that I noticed about the article, it also said you can speak to your smartphone and tell it to start recording by simply saying, "I've been pulled over."
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that with your phone now. You could set up a shortcut to do that.
I'm being pulled over, and it will start recording. Now, this should be interesting, because I don't know if these, just like Pat said, some states it may be admissible. Some states it may not, because does the other person know they're being recorded? You know, there are all these different laws. But
yeah, different states have different what they call party consent, like one party, two party consent. So it really depends on your state and your location, your local location. They may have ordinances about stuff. So this is where, because we're in a presidential election year and everything. This is where you need to pay attention to what's going on locally. That's why I really, you pay attention to the presidential election every 4 years, but you really need to pay attention to what's going on in your backyard every year. Who gets elected and why, and the things they do. So
local ordinances.
That's why you will know what's going on. Like if they're putting up cell towers, if they're doing this, if they're doing that. That's why you must pay attention to what's going on locally. A lot of people don't do it. And the pandemic has shown us that a lot of things that we set aside, we can no longer set aside and forget. Don't set and forget the legal system in your area, because you may need to rely on it. In this case, with the drones. So
okay, because if it's recording a thief and you have and you're not allowed to record, because you know what I mean, it could get dicey.
And then there are laws with you're on your private property, so there are things that happen because you're on your private property. In the case of a thief or whatever, you have as the homeowner of the property that you have rights to protect your property. So this is why you have to pay attention to what's going on in your city or your township or your state or whatever. It's very important to pay attention to it, because we don't know. Every state is different. Every city is different.
You need to know these things before you invest money in them too. Because you hook it up and then someone says, "Man, that's illegal. I'm in your car. I don't want you filming me." Da. Because it can film the inside of the car, and outside. You direct the camera.
Well, this is where it's always this is where you use courtesy and say, "Do you mind if I film you?" Most people would say, yeah, but somebody might say no, but at least you ask. And when you get in a legal situation, you can say, I asked for permission, and they gave it verbally. The judge will say, okay. So
yeah, there you go. So
there's a lot of things we got to look at.
A lot of things to consider before you buy these devices that go in things that may record the public.
Okay. Yeah, recording the public is the key, not your private property, but the public.
Exactly. Public. So I just thought those two articles were interesting. And then I read an article about this contact lens that's supposed to enhance vision. And
okay, better than what a contact lens does now?
Yes, much better. Okay. And so it can help with things like macular degeneration. People and as people age, their eyesight may
glaucoma and stuff like
may need extra enhancement, and is very let Dr. Tachi in. Okay, I'm gonna put her in.
There we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. So this device is there to enhance your vision.
Okay.
And it's like a super, what would you call it, contact lens.
Okay. Because that's what I'm saying. What does it do beyond what the contact lens does now?
It has a microchip in there that will do things like annotate what you see in front of you.
Oh, all right.
You can program it to only do that when you want it to do
it's programmed. See, that's the key. It's programmable, because now the contact lens you buy today, you just pop them in. Your vision is clear or 20/20. But now this, you can program it to do things. Wow.
Yeah. And so they're still working on it. It's supposed to be available next year because they're concerned about the light coming into the retina.
Right.
But it is on. It's on the table, and it was demoed at CES. Is that in Las Vegas?
Yeah, in Vegas in January.
Yeah.
This year was virtual.
So they
will be virtual next year.
Yes.
It's gonna be, things are gonna be virtual for a while.
Get used to it.
I don't know
why people keep trying to rush this thing.
Oh, we want
relax.
to go back to normal. I'm like, no, baby. This
This
is
is
your
normal.
new normal.
This is normal.
Make it work. Make it work.
You know, and it just became normal before everybody expected it or wanted it to, but it was coming.
Yeah.
It just accelerated it. Yes.
Correct.
Nobody
Correct.
wanted to do it this way, but this is what we have, so you have to work with
And
it.
here we are.
Right.
Here we are.
Here we are. Right.
So we're going to relax and enjoy it. So those are the two things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Ring and their thing going on with the indoor drone, so you can monitor your phone while you're in the away, and then the thing with the car.
Okay. All
and
right.
the contact lens. That's
Cool.
what I got this morning. So we are
That's
now
what's
ready
up.
to go into Twitter. What's happening in the world of social media, Terry?
Oh, there's lots. Where do I want to start? I'm so much news. All right, I'll start with Twitter. Twitter has made a couple minor announcements, nothing big. There's nothing big except for a few other things we'll get to. But Twitter is experimenting with the idea of letting people record and send voice messages through direct messages. Now, it will be similar to voice tweets, and it will just be a play pause button, and your avatar will pulse or move as the message plays to indicate that something is happening. Just like a voice message on, well, not like on your phone. It just has a line that doesn't jump, but it'll have your avatar move. So I had a picture I wanted to show so you would be able to see it. Let me bring that up.
Okay.
So it's like if you use your emoji on your phone. Let's see.
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be your icon that you use for Twitter, and then there's a play button. And as the message plays, the little circle, the little icon circle will move and jump like, talking to mimic sound waves.
Okay. I like
so
that.
that's what it's going to look like.
I like that. It lets me know it's moving. Yeah.
Well, Twitter has to do a lot of things for not visually impaired, but people who may be sound impaired or audio. It has to have little cues to say that there's movement or something is happening.
Okay.
So they
makes
have.
sense.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Accommodation.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. There's some more, and my little device went to sleep. Face ID is such a pain. If you don't touch the thing, it goes to sleep, which is a pain. And
well, you can tell it how long before it goes to sleep. Maybe you set
I need to change it. But this is the new thing that I have, so I haven't really changed the settings. I hate, with iOS 14 that came along, and now you can change your icons, and you can put widgets. I'm just like, there's so much stuff to change. I'm just tired.
I haven't even dived into it. It was just so deep. I was
don't dive in until you're ready to do it, because now there's little widgets and things to add, and then the widgets move your icons out of the way. So you got to rearrange your icons on the little app, whatever you want to call them. I'm mad today.
Desktop. Yeah, you're just not a fan today.
Desktop, your screen.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you, iPhone people.
You have to move it, because now we have widgets, and now you have to move everything around. And then if you add the last used widget, it doesn't look like a widget; it looks like icons. So I'm keep tapping in, and it asks me crazy things, and I'm like,
and this is very similar to Android.
They've always had the home screen, and you can move around and widgets and things, but now we have it, so it's like, I ain't got time. I'll do that later. All right, so back to social media wrap up for this week.
Mm-hmm.
So more on Twitter. Twitter has done a lot of stuff this week. Now they have prompts to read before you retweet for all users. So what it is going to call you out for not reading an article before you retweet because they'll be able to tell. So it's a new feature aiming to promote informed discussion, and it will nudge users to read before they retweet. Now
Mhm.
it's a step to make people, be more aware of what they're sharing and doing, facilitate healthier conversation, blah, blah, blah. So they did a test on this, and they're saying this prompt worked. Users open articles before sharing them 40% more often than they did without the prompt. Users in the test group opened the article and then retweeted it 33% more than they did without the test prompt. So
Wow.
they're trying to, Twitter is making small changes, and they're trying to facilitate healthy conversation and healthy sharing, and don't share. And that's the big thing this year, especially because the election. All of these social media apps are trying to keep people from sharing false information. So this is
Right.
one way for Twitter to do that, is to say, hey, did you read that before you just retweeted it? I do that a lot. I do it all the time. So if I see a tweet from somebody and they say, hey, and they give me a blurb and say what the article is, I go to the article. I don't just instantly retweet, but that's just how I work. A lot of people don't do that. They just
Most
retweet
people
without
don't.
reading. Right.
Ugh.
Right. They just retweet without knowing what it is, and then that's how the information gets shared. People pay attention. Just pay
Right.
attention.
Because
pay
you're
attention.
guilty of the spread of misinformation.
Yes.
Ignorance is not an excuse. So
This is
if
not
you
an
didn't take the
excuse. I
time
love
to
that.
read it.
Can we put that on a t-shirt? Ignorance is not an
Absolutely.
excuse.
I
love
love slogans on t-shirts. So yes.
I love that. I mean, really, that fits everything, not just
Mhm.
Twitter. That fits everything. Oh my goodness. Ignorance is
Yes.
just
Not an excuse.
it's not. Okay, so now I did not put my stuff in order, so sorry. Let's look at Instagram. So Instagram is rolling out updates to Reels. They're adding longer video lengths. Users has asked for this change. So instead of it being 15 seconds long clips, it's now going to be 30-second videos, but it's still not as great as TikTok, because TikTok gives you
You got a minute.
a whole minute. So I guess baby steps. I don't know what Instagram is doing. So that's why I say this is not the TikTok killer. This is, let's put a little bit of TikTok in the Instagram and you guys have fun with it.
Yeah.
Again, if you have a business account like I do, you don't have music, which is a big part of what goes on
Right.
with TikTok. So I can
Right.
make reels, but there's no music. So I'm like, what the heck? I don't even deal with it. But
Don't some people have, because I've seen some people do music and not from TikTok. They have
Right.
like original
they have
audio.
They have a creator studio.
Okay.
They might be not creator studio. I'm sorry. They might have a creator account, because there's 3 accounts. There's the personal account, there's the creator
Right, the
account,
business and then the
business.
creator. Right,
Right.
right. So for the business account, there's no music. Right.
Nope.
So for
Nope.
creator accounts, you do have
Do
music.
that. So you'll have to switch if that's what you want. Which
Right.
again, a pain in the butt. I don't.
You know what? I just want an app where I go in, do what I have to do, and go home. Stop
You may
it.
need to build that yourself.
It's called a website.
Basically.
So this is the complaint, that in Reels there's more manual editing that you have to do if you have the music option to match it up your video with the music, because TikTok has a thing that does it automatically. TikTok has so much more editing tools that are so fun. There is tons of stuff in there. So that's why I'm not downing Reels, but I'm like, it's not as fun. It's supposed to be fun. That's what TikTok is. It's fun. It's videos, editing. People are using it. They're happy. Reels, we're going, what the heck? We're going to do 15. Now we can do 30 seconds. But where is all of the, come
The
on.
filters and the fun stuff. Yeah.
Well, filters are there, but it's not the same. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. I'm like, but this seems like work compared to
work.
TikTok, right?
TikTok is easy. You film, and there's the buttons, and you did, and you're happy while you're doing it. Because it's
Right.
easy and fun. Like that's it's easy and fun. You get over the Reels and you go, what the heck? I don't know where stuff is. This is jumping and stopping without telling me it's stopping. And so that's why I'm like, I made a couple of Reels. I did not post them. And I was like, I'm not going to post them. I'm not going to use it. But here's the thing about Reels. The only good thing about Reels is that if you want to get some traction, some new engagement, use Reels, and you'll get some new people to see your account to come over.
Yeah, that's a good thing about the
because
traction,
it's a new
like
thing, right? Because it's a new feature. Facebook, Instagram, they always push. If it's a new feature, they will push it ahead of the pack of the other features that are on the app. So use Reels. You know, if you can take the time and figure it out, and you know, I'm just like, it's on my list. I got other things to do, which leads me to LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't talked about LinkedIn in a while because LinkedIn hasn't. What have they done? Nothing. But today,
I thought they did video.
Nothing. But today they did a whole bunch of stuff. So they updated. Okay. So LinkedIn. Now LinkedIn has, and I looked up this number. They have 706 million registered users, which is nothing to sneeze at. But it's a snooze fest over there. But I love it more now because I've started to use it for business and whatever. But if you're not into business, you might not be using LinkedIn. But now LinkedIn has design changes to desktop and mobile. They want to make it more friendlier, more light, more come on over and use LinkedIn and . Yeah, okay. They also have an integration with Zoom, BlueJeans, and Microsoft Teams for video chats. So they're putting that integration in. LinkedIn also has revamped its search process, and they have more functions in the search feature. The search feature was really basic until they added these changes. So they made the searches more personalized. When you search for a keyword, you can find more information. The search works better on mobile because it did not before. So now they added that. Now, another thing they've added is they've improved the messaging. They have an edit function for sent messages. So here's a direct quote. If you make a mistake in a message, you can now delete a sent message. You can also recall a message once you sent it. That's very important when you're, especially, you're on a business functionality or B2B website. So you might send something out in error or with a mistake. You can go, oops, how do I pull it back? Well, you can recall and, bring it back. So we love that. There's also a bulk edit feature in the messaging, and also something quick reactions. Quick reactions are little quick responses to things. Instagram has it in the stories. When you want to respond to somebody in Instagram stories, it'll pop up and there'll be some reactions already there, and you tap it instead of you trying to find it. Thumbs up, happy, they're already there. They weren't there before. So now you don't have to go to your phone, or if you're, wherever you are and you try to find your emoji, like, I want to use the smiley face. Where is it? Well, it'll be right there. That's called quick reaction. So Instagram. LinkedIn has that now. So that's a good thing. And the last thing, LinkedIn stories.
Yes.
Finally, here. I'm happy. I was waiting. I was like, what's going on? So they were testing it in the last 3 months in Brazil, the Netherlands, UAE, Australia, and France. So it's been in test mode. And I knew that. I was just like, why LinkedIn? Why are you taking so long to bring it to us? They always test it in Brazil and India and whatever. Bring this thing all over to us. So we got LinkedIn stories, and you won't see that. You will see the change. Stories are circles at the top of each application. Instagram is the little circles up top. Facebook is the little circle. You tap on the circle and you see the story. So, there's going to be the story feature over there. I'm excited because this is LinkedIn moving forward progressively with their app. They're trying to make the users happy. Also, this is another place to get engagement and to be discovered, just like I said about Reels. So now you got Instagram stories. Do some stories if you're on Instagram, and you'll see more people coming over to your profile. You'll be able to connect, interact, and talk and message.
I mean, I think that you can throw away everything else, right? The live video is great, but because they don't really have great search and discovery, how does anybody really know that you're live, right?
So they're improving they're improving that search feature now.
Now you're so search will help with that. Now we're going to be able to find live live streams?
It's going to be able to find more things by keyword. When you type in it's going to filter more things to you. I think they had like not a lot, but maybe they didn't include a lot of things you could find on LinkedIn. Who knows?
Okay.
This is Microsoft.
They need a button that says live now so we can see everybody that's live.
That would be cool because Twitter does that. They have it.
Twitter does that.
App. It says live.
Exactly. I mean, that's great. Facebook,
Right.
not that it's obvious, but they do have a listing.
They do have a little pop-up. Right.
Right. So, but I'm like, why would you not do this? Because if people are trying to grow their following through doing lives, you're not helping by having poor search and discovery. So I think this needs to be the next thing they're doing. But Microsoft.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're improving their search feature. So maybe that'll be the next thing. They'll feature more live. Then again, remember, everybody wants the live, LinkedIn Live, and they're rolling it out slowly. I still haven't had it. I know BizChix are super slow. So there must be a reason for that. They're not quite, I don't think they're ready for prime time. For prime time meaning everybody being live at once. I don't think they're ready, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well,
things are coming slowly.
Well, Yolanda says she loves YouTube stories, but she's still lost on LinkedIn. I have not been back to LinkedIn since the war, and I tried to go back, and I'm like, I just don't get it. So,
okay, let's explain it, because I started using it in the last 6 to 8 months. I started to get more.
Help a sister out, okay?
Do tell.
LinkedIn is Facebook for business owners, business people, B2B, people with a business mindset. Yes. It used to be for finding a job, and it's still there, but they're focusing on more of a network. So the key to LinkedIn is networking with other people. That means connecting with people you meet in real life, which is kind of hard now because we're not doing that. Or, you've found out about them from their website or social media or whatever. And what I've done is just by connecting with a couple new people, like I'm following copywriters and stuff, because that's something I'm interested in. Once I connect with one or two, I get waves of them. Because they like other copywriters, and I get to see their likes. So it's like once you connect with one or two people in your industry, LinkedIn will just give you waves of stuff to other people to connect with and follow. So the key to that is when you ask for a new connection, don't just hit connect. There's a part where you can hit a note and say something cute and funny. Hey, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I connected with them. They had a unusual banner, which is on their profile, the image. It said something about, ask me about bamboo. I was like, I asked them. And then we started talking, and then we connected. But see, that's what you have to do. It's not just follow. And inactivity on any social media platform is not the way to go. Yeah. That doesn't happen. So if you're on LinkedIn, who's an example? Lakeisha, she's a makeup consultant, right? She talks about makeup. If she goes to LinkedIn, she can connect with business women who are interested in makeup, because you're going to do a search and find those people. Also, she's going to talk about makeup specifically for business use, for meetings, for Zoom, for this and that. So she's going to connect with people in the industry. And also, if she's targeting women in a specific industry, she can look up that industry and see the people that work in that industry and connect with them. Hey, I did a search and I found you, or read their last post and say something conversationally like you're at a network party. Say that online. Then they read it and they connect with you. Now, there are some spam connections. I get that a lot, but I know who they are because we don't have anybody in connection. And then I read their profile. They're in UAE or they're in Pakistan. Not to put these places down. I'm just saying that if they're over there, and you could tell if it's a spammy profile, we sell, I help sell whatever. I'm not into that. Now, I've done this already, and I'll continue to do this. I will accept connections if I'm not sure, but as soon as they send me a sales message, I disconnect. I did that the other day. I'm like, As soon as we connected, you sent me a sales message about, oh, I help coaches, I sell whatever. When can we set up an appointment? Delete.
You cannot.
And unconnect or whatever the wording is. I removed them from my connection. So there is work involved. So now, this is the deal. If all of your people are on, I think, did I lose my hearing? I think my earphones just died on me.
Oh, you can't hear us?
Something?
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Can
you hear us?
Hold on. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't charge my headphones. So now let me change. Make sure I can hear you.
Okay.
Now I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, great.
So my headphones died. I didn't charge. So what was that? Oh, LinkedIn, about your connection. So it's LinkedIn is Facebook, but it's business oriented. But that's not to say there's not fun going on there. There's some fun people doing some unusual stuff. Like there's some actors and some things, but they're connecting in a Facebook like way, business wise. If you understand what I'm saying. Everybody get what I'm saying.
You know, I think LinkedIn is still, people still have the perception of LinkedIn being when you're seeking a job.
Right.
And I think that it's not that anymore, but it still has that reputation and that perception. And you know, it takes a long time to shake a reputation that you have. Yeah. You have to work at building to be other than what people are saying you are. So you know, I think that there's a lot there and there's so much value there, but I think that they have to do a better job and work harder to dispel the myth that it's just for you when you're seeking a job.
Yeah.
Can I add something really quickly?
Yeah.
So I'm still on this live discovery thing with LinkedIn. I think that I think that you were right in terms of they're not sure what to do with this live animal, because the minute you allow everyone to go live, it is going to become sales fest-orama. Yeah. And then it will turn people off from using LinkedIn, because that's what's happened with some of these other, the platform that we all used to be on before that begins with the B. It became very salesy, very spammy. The marketers all came. Nothing wrong with marketing, but I don't want streams full of marketing of you trying to sell something to me. I mean, and the thing is, what happens is that some of these people, just because you can go live doesn't mean you should. They don't know the rule. They don't know the 80-20. It should be 20% selling, 80% giving value and information. Some people don't get that. And so I think that's probably the fear, but they can kind of allay those fears by having very strict categories. So you could have the marketers there, but it would be inside a category like marketing sales. So people who want that, so all the videos would be categorized. Then you would have this type and that type, rather than just have a whole
in the industry. And you can pick out what you want. That's the deal I was saying about with following with people, with connecting with people in LinkedIn. It's like I will follow somebody, but I'm not sure. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. But as soon as you send me a sales message and it comes right away, as soon as I accept the connection, it comes right away, and I just delete them right away. So that's what you're saying about the live. They're going to be doing that. These sales people, used car salesmen types, I call them. They're going to be this and that, and you're going to get bombarded with it. We don't want that. You're absolutely right.
They're forgetting about the know, like, and trust with all these things. I'm going ahead and I'm accepting you, but you're selling me something. I don't know you. Now I don't like you because you're bothering me, and I damn for sure don't trust you. So
I'm getting messages now from some. I gotta disconnect because I ignore the message and they keep sending me. Well, when can we set up a time? I'm like, dude, I haven't responded to the first message. Why are you sending me 5 messages? I'm getting ready to
just write to them. We can't witch, and they'll stop.
and it's based on I was already, because it'll show, LinkedIn will show you're already connected to 8 people or 5 people, and it'll show you the people. So I looked at the people. I'm like, oh, these people, you connected to these people, you must be okay. And then as soon as bloop, and they send me a message, I'm like, oh, I kick them out. But that's the work that you have to do. So that's why I feel like LinkedIn is Facebook, but it's business oriented. Like Facebook, you follow certain people. It's people oriented relationships. But Yolanda, and I want to bring up her comment right here. So she says, I follow topics and companies on LinkedIn, know people, disconnected everybody. See, you can do that, but you won't have the networking part of it. Like I said, remember when you go to an event, you know, a business event, and there's networking parties, you know, people, there's, you know, after 5 or whatever, people drinking and talking, they're making connections. So you're not getting that part. If you're okay with it, it's fine. But you can use LinkedIn, like she said, because they're improving the search feature. So you can search by topics in industry and see stuff that people post, unless they make it private. I don't know if that's an option or not. I'm not sure. I have to check. But
you can have a private account. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I mean, if you make a post. Because you know,
a private post,
right? On Facebook, you could have a public post, a friend's post, only this post. I gotta check that. But see, you can do what Yolanda is doing. You can use LinkedIn for research, and that's what this is. She's following topics, she's following industry, she's following companies because they're all putting information out on LinkedIn. Right. So she has an account, but she's not connecting with people. That's fine. If she wants to work that way, that's fine. But she's also getting the benefit of looking at what other people post about a topic, an industry, a keyword, a company, a this or that, because they have company pages too over there.
Okay.
So, right. So then she says, I'm going to bring this up. She says, better connections come from engaging in company and topic comments. See? There's 2 ways. There's no one right way to approach LinkedIn, but I think everybody should start to use it more. If you're business oriented and you want to get more business connections and network, it's perfect for that. It's more now. We got one more thing to connect with, but I mean, one more thing to do. But LinkedIn is putting in the changes to help us like it more, I guess. So I'm starting to like it more because I did not like it.
I wasn't looking for a job. I just, you know what I mean? So I really didn't. And I like Tachi said, I always associated it with that.
Pat says, I hope you talk about the Jump Rope app and involve the tool for making how-to videos into a standalone platform. I haven't heard of this Jump Rope app.
I don't know about Jump Rope. Please do tell.
Yes, I think I heard of something Jump Rope, but it was something about videos. I think so. I didn't know they had an app. I saw it on the desktop, but we'll look at that, Pat. Okay, so let's get back to the update because started talking about LinkedIn because they haven't done anything for a while. So the reason why LinkedIn is doing this because they want you to come over and love them some more. They know they're boring and staid and they're the ugly little gray computer. Remember the little ugly little what's that color with the little grayish beige, the little beige computer
that would turn yellow after a while.
And the guy, Microsoft guy with the tie and a little shirt. They know, and the pocket protector. They know Microsoft knows that LinkedIn is like that, and they're trying to put on a new fresh coat of paint. You'll come over and love them. So I love the stories features. That's going to make more things happen with over there with your account. Okay. All right, so I got 2 more things. So one is Pinterest, which we don't talk about a lot. Pinterest story pins. So the story, I'm telling you, the story thing is hot. I was waiting. I'm waiting for LinkedIn. YouTube has stories. Ben has stories. All the others have a story feature. Story features is hot. Why? Because it's short form content. I don't have to invest a lot in watching a long video, an 8-minute video or whatever you got going on in YouTube. I don't have to watch a 60-second video. I can watch a little 30-second, 15-second clip of stories, and it's a short, sweet bite of content. That's really what it is. So that's why people like it. You know, why do people like little bonbons and candy and little bite-sized candy, especially around Halloween? Because it's a little bite. And then you can move on to something else. So Pinterest.
You don't have to commit to the whole candy bar. Yes.
You don't have, and you feel bad when you eat the whole candy bar, right? Like, I ate the whole but if you got a little mini, you feel better, right? So that's the deal behind stories. So that's why all of the apps, all of the social media platforms are embracing stories, bringing it in because it brings the eyeballs, it brings engagement. People are happy, and that's the key. If they're happy, they stay on the platform. So that's why we're doing that. So Pinterest they're testing story pins. We will let you post a series of photos and videos with music and voiceovers. I mean, that's the story format, and it lets creators turn their ideas into visually engaging dynamic stories, like step-by-step videos. You can explain stuff, because Pinterest is that hybrid of social media and search, because it's really a great search engine like Google. But there's a social media layer on top of it. A lot of people are sleeping on Pinterest. I'm like, Pinterest is sitting in the back going, okay, we're good. Just like Snapchat, we're good. We got our core user group and we're good. We don't have to be Facebook. We don't have to be TikTok.
Correct.
But they're going to be slow and steady riding around in the back like, yo, we know y'all coming to Pinterest, so we're here. We're good. So that's why they're bringing in the story feature, so you can, and also the story pins you can save to the board. That's the whole idea behind Pinterest. You see an article, a blog post, another pin from somewhere else, and you pin it to your board. So It's like pin boards and a lot of, they said that the average user, women, a certain age, whatever, but men are there, businesses there, people are there. So don't think that your people aren't there, your audience isn't there. They are. So this is a good opportunity for you to go to Pinterest and start, getting your real estate over there and getting people to see you over there. Because think Pinterest, think search engine with social media features on it. Think search engine first, because people search a lot on Pinterest for things, all kind of topics. So don't say, well, I'm not a crafter, or I'm not a designer or wedding or planning. There's other things over there. Tons. So if your audience includes men and you want to have some more eyeballs and traction, Pinterest, try it out. So they got the story pins. Let's see what else is with that. It's rolling out with a few creators now in the United States, and they'll just keep watching. Just like with LinkedIn, it came out yesterday. I didn't have it, and then I have it. Then I checked a few hours later, and I had it. So it's rolling out slowly. Again, like LinkedIn Live, they can't give it to everybody all at once because servers and stuff like that. If you're interested in Pinterest, take a look. All right, so now here's the last thing we're going to talk about, the last update this week, TikTok. Let me take a breath.
Can we make this short this week? Because last week we went down a rabbit hole with them.
I have to recap all of the clown car. This situation, I'm not calling it a deal. It's a situation. And it keeps changing every doggone day. All right, so
I have to refresh.
What's going on now with TikTok is that supposedly, we don't know, they say this and that, Oracle will become the trusted partner, the cloud provider for TikTok data in partnership with Walmart. So they're saying that there will be a new US-based company called TikTok Global. Oracle will hold 12.5% stake. Walmart will have a 7.5% stake. The board of TikTok Global will consist of 4 American citizens and ByteDance founder. I hope I'm not his name. Chinese founder. But ByteDance, which is the owner of TikTok app, will says that they will own 80% of TikTok Global, and that this new company will be a subsidiary. Okay, so they're saying that ByteDance. So Oracle comes back and says ByteDance will have no ownership of TikTok Global, because this TikTok Global is separate from the TikTok that's based in China. Okay. So it's not a done deal because China has the green light the deal. China doesn't want to do that, and they say they won't. They're saying that
Carlos is upset. He's up here. Look, go ahead.
So this is what's going on in the media over in Beijing. They accuse the U.S. of hooligan logic. This is what they're calling it, the deal, in its push to, to get certain conditions about TikTok deal. They're also saying that it's hard to believe that Beijing will approve such an agreement. It's not approved on their side. There's a deal. A deal means two parties, right? So
correct.
on our side, the current person in the White House is saying this, that, and the other. The ban was supposed to be on September 15th. It was supposed to be on September 20th. Now it's September 27th. It's crazy. Now it's going to the courts also because TikTok has moved the fight to the court because they want an injunction against the ban that's coming up by the guy in the White House. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. It keeps moving around. The pieces keep moving around. They own this. ByteDance says, no, we're not doing that. Beijing says, no, we're not doing that. Trump says this and that and the other. Right now, where we are, right now, today, TikTok sought an injunction on Thursday to stop the ban from happening, which means you won't be able to download the app or get any updates. They're going to court to stop that. So on Thursday, a judge told the U.S. government to either delay the ban or file their response to TikTok's complaint by Friday, which is today, Friday afternoon. If they do it, there will be a hearing on the weekend before the ban is set to come in effect on the 27th. Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you know, or does anybody know, if this drastic type of action has been taken against a tech company, a foreign tech company before?
No, I don't think so.
I don't either.
In the US. No.
Say again?
Not in the U.S. Remember the guy in the White House did the Huawei thing.
Right. Yes.
So we're getting into tit and tat, back and forth.
Right. The back and forth. Okay.
Right.
So it has. I just wanted to be sure because I don't recall this ever happening, but I'm like maybe I'm missing something.
No, this is new territory because of the person in the White House decided that they want to do this.
Of course.
Because this is not a Oracle founder is a supporter. So there's been talk that all of this deal, Barry Diller, Barry Diller, he came out on CNBC and said that this was a mess, that this shouldn't have happened, and it's happening because political reasons. So there's a lot of ingredients in this situation. It's not even a deal. So there's been talk in the New York Times that this was New York Times is saying that this was done so a supporter could get some business off of this mess because it didn't have to happen. It's like it didn't have to happen.
Okay, so Carlos says it's never been done before. Government doesn't even know what social media means. It's never been done this way before. Now, governments have said, look, we're not having this over here. Stop, and stop certain apps. Okay. But they've never tried to do a gangster thing where they try.
I like that word.
Where they try to come in and get paid to let you bring your stuff in. So to me, that's gangster. Okay.
So remember, this all started off an executive order from the person in the White House saying this app is a threat to national security. So using that bat of I'm gonna beat everything with this bat of it's a threat to national security, where there hasn't been any concrete evidence. There's talk of it because of the data being saved in the U.S. Right?
Impossible, yeah. So Carlos said foreign countries have done this before because they get people's data. Yeah, and remember, I think there was some kind of Russian app, and people were. It allowed you to scan your face.
Yes, it was. I know what you're talking about.
And they were concerned that now people's identity could be
they used because the data and the servers were over in Russia.
Okay, exactly.
So two things. With this, foreign governments have done this before. I was, wondering if the U.S. had done this before. No, somehow I knew the answer. I just wanted to be sure. Two things about this that I don't like. It destroys the whole concept of not only democracy but the free and open marketplace of ideas, etc. Well, three things. Number two, there's a certain party who is very anti-big government and does not want government in business, yet this is exactly what this is, and it doesn't stop here. Anybody who thinks this is it, no, this just opens the door, the floodgates for a whole bunch of things. Number three, I also don't like that this reeks of, remember what China was a closed society for a long time. Now, this is not to say that of course, there are privacy issues and concerns. I'm not talking about that. China was a closed society for a long time. They went with military tanks and basically forced China to open to trade back in the 1800s. This, to me, reeks of the same thing. It is technological colonialism, and I detest colonialism in all aspects. Coming from a country that was colonized, I can't stand it. Stop it. So you know what? I absolutely, if China says no, I mean, I don't blame them for doing that. You are not doing it. You're disingenuous as to why this is. It is less about security and more about your feelings being hurt.
Exactly.
It really is. It really is. Because if that's the case, we would stop allowing things like Facebook to go into other countries. Do you understand?
Well, that's already done. China doesn't allow things from Google and Apple.
They put the border up. But I'm just saying, we're really concerned about our citizens' identities and information, and then we would set a border and not allow us out of the intranet. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Where was your anger before with the Cambridge Analytica?
Exactly. Okay. I mean, so I don't even call it a deal anymore. It's a situation brought up by the basis of it is political. I'm going to say that. That's because why ban the app, but to say, to use this baton, this bat of, it's a threat to national security. How do we know that? Where's the proof? So now you're going forward with who's with me with this bat and getting all of this messed up stuff going on when ByteDance is like, what the heck is going on? We should be banned. China's over there saying, we're not selling this thing because it's got proprietary technology called the algorithm. You're not going to get access to that algorithm anyway. Even if you buy it, which we're not allowing you to buy, we're allowing you to be a trusted partner, but we haven't approved that yet. So all of this is talk on the person in the White House. All of this is on him. He's creating the art of the art of the deal. There's no deal going on here. Like Barry Diller on CNBC this week, he said this is a mess. He was like, why did this happen? And he's saying politically that because the person
people got involved that had no business.
Right. To get advantageous things for people who support him, which is not how you run things. Business doesn't work that way in a democracy. Business doesn't work that way when it works with government.
Oh, well, we've been downgraded, in case you didn't know. We are no longer a full democracy. We're just, our status, honestly, has been downgraded.
And I don't even I'm not even going to say that because that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah, we're
going to get Carlos's comments in here.
Yes.
Because he says he also thinks that the mail is a threat to national security. Yeah. The name of that app was Reface. Okay. Thank you, Carlos.
Okay.
Reface. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. We should ban pencils. Okay. Because people just sharing all kind of information with their pencils. Okay.
Writing all kinds of nonsense.
Okay. We should protest and just all sit and spend time on our phones in front of the White House like each other and others posting these. Okay. All right.
It's a mess. I mean, so like I said at the beginning of this weeks ago, watch this space. Things will change. Everything is fluid in here. What's going to happen? We don't know. I wake up, there's another this or that or ban or this or that. So it is what it is. But TikTok is still in operation, so you can use it. use it. I don't think it's going to be banned because now we're going to court. Oh, WeChat was part of this ban, but some of the WeChat users got together and did something legally, and now that ban has been stopped by a judge. So,
okay. Well, let us just pray.
And that is the end of what's going on this week in social media.
Okay, because I need to breathe. I have, we got a lot going on here in California. We got fires. We got we got voting. I mean, Terry, we can only take so much.
There's tons of stuff in the pot.
So we need, what we need? We need a media outlet.
Yeah.
To us, Taji, because I need some entertainment.
I'll try. Anyway, there's a lot going on. I'll try not to take up too much time, but I talked about this on Wednesday on Mediascope. Production can now resume in Hollywood as unions and studios have set COVID-19 safety protocols. I mean, well, it's not going to be the way it was before. So they based their protocols based off of something called the Safe Way Forward. It was a report that was released in June for the TV and film industries. And who's agreed to this deal, basically, or to the guidelines? Basically the major unions, because all Hollywood productions that are like recognized that you see on television and in film are union. So the Directors Guild of America, which is the DGA, the IATSE, which is the International Alliance of Theatrical Stage Employees, the Teamsters, also the Basic Crafts and Screen Actors Guild, which is SAG-AFTRA. Because the AFTRA stands for American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. So they've all agreed to this. And also the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, so the Producers Guild as well. So you've got all the major guilds and all the major unions that have agreed to this. So they've been negotiating this for months and months at a time. Obviously, you can imagine productions are based off of having tens or sometimes hundreds of people involved in the production on the set, especially if you're talking about a large soundstage. So here's the agreement. As part of the agreement, every member of the cast and crew will be tested before their first day of work, and then will be subsequently undergo regular testing protocol during the production. They're going to use a lab-based PCR test or a rapid PCR test in conjunction with lab-based PCR tests. So antigen and antibody tests are not acceptable. You have to have these tests, right? Then they also have several zones. There are 4 zones that they're going to divide productions into. So zone A includes performers who aren't able to utilize PPE equipment or physical distancing while the cameras are rolling, and those that come into close contact with performers. If you're zone A, you've got to be tested 3 times a week at least. Others are zone B, which includes those who work on the set but not when performers are present. Zone C covers workers in production areas other than the set, and they have to be tested a minimum of once every 2 weeks. Zone B, has to be tested every week. Zone C is once every 2 weeks. And then if you're zone D, that covers all remote workers associated with the production, but you're not working on set or the production environment. And that's just a test prior to your first day of employment. So you can see they are really trying to have strict guidelines in place so that they can continue production. Because as you know, every day that you are not shooting, every day that you are not working on the production is money lost. So they are really trying to get back to things. So you can find, if you're interested in all of the guidelines, you can go to any of those union websites that I mentioned, and they have in fact, when you go, it's like the COVID-19 thing pops up first. So if you're interested, you can go to SAG-AFTRA, Directors Guild, etc., and take a look at the new guidelines. Okay, so I have to talk about this. We've been talking about Quibi ad nauseum, right? Well, and you know my feelings on Quibi. It has promise, but I don't know that it has longevity the way they are going now. So, reportedly, Quibi is seeking a buyer after a lackluster first few months. It's only been in existence since April. they're already looking for a buyer, right? So according to the Wall Street Journal, I didn't know this. They're a 1.75 funded business. I had no idea. A billion business. I had no idea they had that much money. But okay. So after an abysmal launch and an abysmal, first few months, they are looking for a buyer, potentially to be sold, bringing in additional funds from investors. That's another thing they could do, or merging with an SPAC, which is a shell company that raises capital through an initial public offering. So, yeah, I don't care who you bring in. Here's the thing. They brought in so many heavy hitters in terms of programming. Like, none of their programming is people you don't know for the most part. They've all been in the game for a while. They've got some really big notables. So I guess Jeff Katzenberg, who was the founder, and then Meg, I can't remember her last name. She is the director, basically, the CEO. I guess they thought these Hollywood names were going to be enough to get people to pay every month for this. But remember, I told you that after that 3-month period, because you got 90 days free, only 8% went on to keep the paid subscription.
Okay.
And that's because they forgot.
They forgot it. You forget if you're not engaged. To me,
there was on the card. You know what I mean? It hit the card.
Yeah,
right.
Now, Carlos says this. He says, Quibi 6 months free with T-Mobile Tuesday.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, okay. So that's a current thing now. Oh, well,
they're giving it away. The thing is, if you don't have content that I want to see, or if your content is new, you need to tell me what it is. So I need to know if I want to go over there and try. You need to at least tell me what flavor the ice cream is. You know what I'm saying? And so
exactly.
if I'm not on that particular platform, you got to find a way to tell me what you got in the ice cream store. I'm just like, I especially if I got to download your app to order the ice cream. I'm like,
right. And then there's there's just some, again, with the podcast, we reviewed about 16 Quibi shows. One thing is, I'll give them, they are churning out content like nobody's business.
Okay.
So they do have a lot of content. But like you said, is it content that people want to see? There are some shows that I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm sure a lot of other people are like that too. Then there are some shows that are good, but is it going to entice me to pay to see this? Is there something else that I could satisfy that, or do I have to have it? That's the thing. None of these shows are really must-see TV.
Okay. But see, that's the deal with content. It has to be something you want, not just, oh, well, we made it, you're going to watch. If you build it, they will come. No, that doesn't happen.
And even if yes. Do I want it? I mean, think about it. People are giving away free stuff all the time, and you're saying, "Look, I don't need nothing else in my house. I'm good.
I'm good. I don't need no more because I won't be able to walk around. I keep bringing stuff in."
Okay, exactly. So it's like, do you know how many people subscribe to Stars? There's nothing else that most people want to see on Stars, but because of Power and now P-Valley, there are people that subscribe to Stars just because of those shows. So you have to, but you have a whole bunch of content, but nothing anybody wants to see. So if you look at that, it's like, all right, even if we have one show that people have to see, we retain those individuals. How are some of these other streamers staying afloat when they only have 1 or 2 shows that people want to see and they're like, damn the rest? It's because they've created programming that is so stellar. And I think here's the thing. They are quantity. Quibi is quantity above quality. And that's part of the problem. They have to have more quality, more shows that are must see, that people must have.
Like Tyler Perry? More quantity.
He's quantity above quality. Let's be, and that's no disrespect to him.
I'm just saying that's his thing.
It depends on what you like.
It depends on what you like. There's an audience. Right. He cranks it out. There's an audience for it. Am I necessarily the audience for everything? No. But I respect him. And but I respect him and I may support him because I'm trying to see a person of color, succeed in this
Yes.
space. So
And
I'll
that's
support
the
you because of that. Not that
And
I
that's
really
the main
like what you're
complaint with
doing.
him. That's the main complaint with him is quality. Up your quality. Anything
Right.
else, there's no complaint.
Well,
But-
when you write every damn thing yourself, hire some writers other than you. You don't know every walk of life. Every lane is not your lane, and that's the problem. That's
Oh my
another thing
goodness.
altogether. So
when he posted that on social, did you see the post he added where he had written all of these scripts and he took a
8
picture? He was so
scripts.
proud.
8 scripts, and he said, "You know what that's called? Work ethic." I said, "Well, no, that's also foolishness and bullheadedness when you think nobody else can write things better than you. You may have a particular point of view, but you have a show called Sisters that is about 4 millennial Black women. You're Black, but you're not a woman, nor are you a millennial. What do you know about their stories? You can't write that kind of stuff.
I'm tired of being an angry Black woman on his films. I was done.
Because he only knows things from his viewpoint of how he grew up, and that's what he's writing. What you need to do is get some Black women writers who can give some depth to those characters. Right now, you're just giving surface from your point of view. That's like, okay, I love Chinese film, I love foreign film, but simply because I love it doesn't mean I can write a script for an Arabic film and have it because I'm not of that culture. So simply because you're Black does not give you license to write whatever you want about any group of Black people.
We are not monolithic.
Yeah, we are not monolithic.
We're not a monolith. So I don't know how we got on the Tyler Perry thing, but
that was my fault because you said the quantity or the quality.
Well, quality, yeah, with Quibi.
I love you, Tyler, but that's
love your hustle. Don't necessarily like the game.
I love his testimony.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on. We know that Quibi has an issue.
Yeah, now, absolutely.
Did Quibi win some awards?
They did.
Quibi. Wait, did they? I didn't see that in the list of.
I thought they won some.
Did they win an Emmy?
Yeah, a couple of Emmys.
I think they did. I think
I have to.
You know,
I have to look. You remember which shows? Let's see.
You know why I know Quibi is not really a hot thing? Because nobody called me up and said, "Girl, did you not know Quibi? Because such and such a program is on there."
Nobody's talking about it.
Nobody.
So
yeah, let's see. Okay, I'm looking now at Deadline and see, but that tells you how obscure this is because I knew about all the other Emmy wins, but I did not know about this.
I think they did win one.
They got its first pair of statuettes. So they got 2 from Free Ray Sean, and that's the show with Lawrence Fishburne plays in it, and stars Lawrence Fishburne and Jasmine Cephas Jones.
Was this about somebody getting out of jail?
No, well, he is running from.
You see the themes? I'm
police.
tired of these flipping themes. That's all.
No, exactly. I'm like. He's running
jail, poverty. Yes. Give me a break.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not anything that I want to see. So they got 10 Emmy nominations, but they got 2. And I was trying to see what the other one was for. I don't remember what the other Emmy that they got was for, but they got 2. So, and one was for Free Ray Sean. Deadline. I don't know why you would not put that in the first paragraph. Anyway, so that was during the creative arts.
I'm sorry. I want to say one thing about Quibi. They needed an influencer like the Kardashians or something to put a show on there to get the attention, and maybe they would be in a better spot. Not to say that it has to be the Kardashians. I'm just saying on that level of having a community to come over and watch.
What they need to do, absolutely, is have they've got a lot of these game shows, these competition shows on there, which is cool. That could work.
Reality
but like reality competition shows. So they do have like a reality makeover show I told you guys about before, but with some of these shows, it's like I'm appalled. Like the what is it? It's not called Hit the Floor. That was a show. It's called Something the Floor. So it's a dance competition where the dancers are on a moving floor and they have to maintain their choreography and not fall off. I am appalled as a dancer. You can really get hurt when things are. I mean, you can get injured.
They're doing it wrong. They're trying to build an audience when they should bring an audience. Like if they had got something like Cobra Kai, like I know it was on YouTube and now it's on Netflix, but if they had gotten something like the Cobra Kai show,
if they had gotten Cobra Kai, I could also see something like even though it's over on Netflix, like a Raising Dion, that would work phenomenally well on something like a Quibi. They're thinking in the wrong direction, if you ask me, but that's because you have big Hollywood players at the top, as opposed to content, but content that works in the traditional linear entertainment sense.
Studio content, you need influencer. I need an influencer with a big audience content to come over to a show and bring the eyeballs, and then you do the other stuff that you're doing. So that's why we wanted to mention about Quibi, that they're trying to build the audience, but you don't. That kind of platform they have to have someone bring our audience over.
You're right. It's like, why did you not look at, because what they need to be doing is they need to be looking at poaching some of these people from YouTube and say, hey, we're going to offer you a deal. YouTube. We're going to get a couple of them. All these beauty people.
Hey, what is James? Somebody, the makeup dude, and all. They should have gotten an influencer like that with a big
Jackie Ina. Jackie Ina is hot. What you all should have done was done a show, and she's actually a makeup artist. So what you should have done was done a panel show and kind of like the next great makeup artist or something like that. Had the influencers as panelists, you would have drawn millions. I'm telling you, because people would have paid for that. But because you're thinking in the same Hollywood way, and this is the problem, you don't see the promise in lay people being able to draw an audience. And we totally can. So do something else, Quibi. Okay, 2 more quick stories because I know we are short on time. Let's talk about Philo. If you know about Philo, that is a streaming service that offers live TV. And by the way, if you didn't know what Philo was named after, Philo Farnsworth was a farm boy who actually invented television. He discovered that pictures can ride on the same waves as radio waves that sound does, and he basically invented rudimentary television in the 1930s. So we've had television since the 30s, but it didn't become big until after the war in the 1950s, because everybody goes into wartime production, and GE or whatever, which would have normally made television sets, was making warheads. So that's a little bit of a thing for you. So Philo comes from Philo Farnsworth, the inventor of TV. So here's the thing. Yeah, quick, media trivia for you. So Philo has actually announced a new partnership with Best Buy, very strategic, in which they're going to be marketed along with select devices at Best Buy.
That's smart.
Nice.
Very smart.
Very smart.
Very, very smart indeed. So under the agreement, Best Buy shoppers can get a free month of Philo when they purchase select streaming devices, smart TVs, and antennas. Or they simply sign up for Philo through Best Buy, and they'll get 50% off their first bill.
Cool.
Okay.
So currently, they are the lowest priced streamer, offering 61 channels for $20 a month, without ESPN or without sports really at all. And they announced in August that they had accumulated 750,000 paid subscribers, up 300% year over year. And this is what Andrew McCullum, who is the CEO of Philo, said in a statement, quote, "We are thrilled to announce our partnership with Best Buy, and it opens the door to a whole new segment of customers to embrace the future of TV."
Love it.
Very smart. Very smart.
Yeah, really smart.
Go ahead.
I love it when people make good partnerships.
Yes, absolutely.
I was going to say that is, if you want to find a way to grow and you're not known, and this works for everybody that's listening. partner up with somebody who's a little bit more, they have more followers than you, but you have a symbiotic relationship, and do something together, do a collaboration, and you will get some of their users maybe to like what you're doing. So that's what they're doing best. There's a partnership there, so you don't have to go it alone. I love that.
You don't have to be alone. Yeah, absolutely. I think that makes sense because, again, you are one of the newer live TV kids on the block. Yeah. And so you definitely need to ride on some coattails here. So, try to get to where Sling and some of these others are, you've got to do that. So good for you, Philo. Yeah, so I wanted to start, this is the last thing. I wanted to start with this because it is a little bit politicky, right?
Politicky. I like that. Politicky.
Yeah. Or politricky, because it's politics.
Yeah, I like that even better.
So this is interesting, and it speaks to what we were talking about before with TikTok in a way. There are 5 Republican senators who have sent a letter to the Netflix CEO, Ted Sarandos, challenging their decision to adapt a Chinese sci-fi trilogy called The Three-Body Problem. So led by Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee, they're arguing that the author of the trilogy, Liu Cixin, I think I'm saying it right, made disparaging remarks about Uyghur Muslims in an interview last year and defended the Chinese government's internment camps in Xinjiang. So they said they have significant concerns with Netflix's decision to do business with an individual who is parroting dangerous CCP propaganda, the senators wrote. In the face of such atrocities in Xinjiang, there no longer exists corporate decisions of complacency, only complicity. So they are asking that Netflix seriously reconsider giving Liu a platform. So I wanted to bring that up because I thought it was very interesting. What do you guys think about this?
I think politicians need to get somewhere and sit down.
Thank you.
What happened to free enterprise?
It's also saying, it also sends a message, again, going with, and ironically, they're the party of smaller government, but here you are again being big government, poking your nose into the private affairs of private businesses. Now, I do agree with taking a stance or having a stance when it comes to human rights violations, etc. I get it and I understand, but it seems like all of this is very politically motivated because there have been, I'm quite sure you can go through Netflix's library and find questionable or objectionable filmmakers. Okay. So here's the thing here. So I have to add this because this is related. You all heard about the Cuties controversy, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So Cuties, I don't know if you know, but it's a French filmmaker who actually is from, her family is from Senegal, but grew up in France. And this was actually kind of her, based off of her experience growing up as a young girl in France. So I think she was born in Senegal and then they moved to France, but, trying to fit in, trying to do things. So there was all this uproar. Again, people were like, oh, well, you need to, do this. So basically this surge, there was a little surge in Netflix cancellations because of this, but it was, according to data, it was short-lived. So, this firestorm over Cuties actually burned out after a few days, according to some new data. Mm-hmm. So my thing is like, well, your indignation towards certain things is very selective and because this was another place where there was some indignation towards it. But I'm like, but did you watch? I watched a whole interview with the filmmaker, again, a Senegalese filmmaker who talked about this and talked about the symbolism, what this was, and the fact that it happens. But the thing that I don't like is that, okay, film imitates life, art imitates life. These things actually happen. Just like when that movie Kids came out. Remember back in the 1990s, the movie Kids came out, and that was the first movie that, why can't I think of her name? But I see her face. I can't think of her name, but the first movie that this particular actress did, and there was all this uproar, and parents were upset, and the filmmaker said, "You're upset, but this is what your kids are doing."
Yeah.
And so there is a thing of not wanting. It's one thing that you don't want your children to be exposed to some things. It's another thing that responsible adults watching who can watch these things can't be informed about the things that are happening, like trafficking, like
just
etc.
Is it Euphoria show that Zendaya one that was supposed to be about teenagers doing things that their parents didn't, but they're doing it.
They're doing it. They're doing it. Nobody is saying that it's right. It's happening though, and to turn a blind eye to it is exactly why because you won't talk to your children about such things. No, you think your child is pristine. They're not doing these things. You won't talk to them about it. So therefore, out of sight, out of mind, it's not happening. And then something happens detrimental. You're like, well, why is my child hooked on amphetamines? Well, because you never talked about it with them. So it's interesting the way that politics is getting involved in all of this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, the government was about to shut down. Is this what you all were convening about? Cuties and Netflix things? And TikTok? Yeah. Is this what you all were doing?
And the people that have a stimulus check, we can't get unemployment checks out the door. What the heck is going on?
People eating cat food. There's a story about the older lady that she couldn't get out and stuff. And I was just like, come on, there's stuff that's going on. Why are you worried about this and that?
Because they don't have jobs, and you got time to talk about this.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And the people that were like, oh, I'm going to cancel my Netflix subscription. Bye. It's a tiny little minuscule out of their, 175 million subscribers?
Exactly.
My question is, you have time to write a letter, to get together and write a letter about this, but you cannot meet and get business done.
And if you're going to unsubscribe, bye. You shouldn't be paying for something that you don't like anyway. Bye. There will be more subscribers.
The problem I have with all of this is it stinks of censorship, and I really have a real problem with that. It's a slippery slope.
Yep.
Absolutely. And the whole thing is I think often we're hearing these allegations of things, especially in the case of Cuties. We're hearing these from, the extreme religious and extreme conservative community. And they're not, and these are the people that have not seen the movie, by the way.
Yeah,
they just hear about it.
They haven't seen it.
They haven't seen it. They just hear about it, decide they don't need to say it, and then go out on a campaign against it. But then you hear the filmmaker
outrage.
Exactly. Well,
they read and they retweet. They retweet without reading. Go ahead.
Exactly. So, I think that, these are also the people that should not be making decisions for us because they don't use critical thinking skills. I think it's really sad because, the interview was excellent. And it talks about, I have to watch the movie this weekend, but it's really about, they're all 11-year-old girls and how she is torn. Senegal is like 99% Muslim. And, Muslim traditions are you're not just Muslim as a religion. That's part of you are life. Islam is life. It's not like, Christians, we're Christian when it's convenient for us. Islam and Judaism is life for many people, not everybody, but for many people. And so, she's torn between Islamic traditions that she was that she grew up with and life in modern day France. And growing up as a teenager or a preteen in France and the things that you are exposed to.
She had to walk, between the two.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's the story. It's an immigrant story. And all these other things happen. All these other things
for face value, just like I said about Twitter, and they want to make sure that you stop taking things at face value. I heard about the Cutie controversy. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go watch it because I heard about the controversy. I'm not gonna immediately, they're doing child this and that. That was the deal. Oh, Netflix is condoning child this and that. I'm like, you haven't even watched the movie. You don't even know what it's about.
And see, the thing that Netflix was remiss about was the image that they chose for the poster on the American side. That's where it started.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because my thing is like, all you witches who have a problem, this has won awards at Sundance and at film festivals. You had nothing to say then. The minute the poster comes out, which is a surface representation of what the film is, you have everything to say. I mean, this is why to most people that I'm like, shut up. Who asked for your opinion? And your opinion is wrong. It's just terrible.
Go out and feed some people.
Yeah. Since it's so wrong, since you're so upset with this, what are you doing? Are you working with child anti-child pornography and anti-trafficking organizations? No, you sit there and complain. Therefore, I bid you good day. Shut up.
Armchair warriors behind a computer.
They're useless. So I wanted to say that first, since we were coming off of the heels of it, but I forgot. So that's what I have for you today.
Well, that's quite a bit. You know something? It's getting hard to have conversations without bringing in politics, because they have insinuated themselves into so many parts of our lives.
That's why I stopped watching the news. I stopped watching the news. I'm sorry to say, people that, not that I'm saying that people that don't agree with me, but people that are incendiary on my Facebook and stuff, I mute them or what. I don't want that.
Exactly. Or even people just sharing. These things are important to see, which is another reason why, like you, I curtail how much of the news I watch. I'll try to watch local news so I know what's happening.
100% now. You can't avoid,
because you can't. Right. But and then on social media, you see a whole bunch of things. But in your timeline, I'm like, okay, after, for example, the Breonna Taylor thing, the decision that came down, your timeline gets inundated with those types of things. And it's like, for your own sake, for your own mental health, you have to turn off some of those things. That means take a sabbatical from social media for a while.
If you can't affect the change in that situation, like I'm in New York, I can't do anything in Louis, so I'm not going to let that build the steam and
we talked about this yesterday.
That's something I can do here.
Oh, wow.
The mindfulness of it all.
Yes.
Just chill out. Be gracious with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we're going to take some deep breaths. And use mindfulness. You know what? It's also using mindfulness with the media that you choose to expose yourself to for your own sake, for your own health. Just be mindful with what you select. It's called selective exposure, actually, in media, that you select the media messages that most align with what you believe, right?
We can be outraged, but we don't have to eat all of that anger and outrage. You don't have to eat all of it, unless you can, like I said, you could do something about it physically, like go out and do something in March or whatever. If you can't physically do anything about it or whatever, don't take all of that in, because it's detrimental to you, and you won't be able to change anything in your area because you're upset about that. So we're not saying,
and no, there are the ways that you can do it.
We're not saying stick your head in the sand, but what can you change? Work on that.
Give yourself a break.
Give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This week's mental health break.
Yes. So we're going to wrap this up. I want to thank you, ladies, so much for coming in and sharing information with us. I want to give a shout out to Carlos and all of those who were watching live. Pat, and
a lot of people stopped.
And everybody else stopped by. I just want to thank you. We appreciate you. We know Fridays get a little
long-winded. We go a little over.
They get a little involved. So we just thank you. And we want to give a shout out to all of you watching on the replay. Thank you, Dr. Tachi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. I really appreciate you. I want you to know that we will be here Monday talking coffee, thoughts, tea, and conversations. So set your clock. We'll be here same time, same station. And remember to go to the front of your own line. We love you, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.